Using the exact same knowledge that we just learned to build major chords, we're going to build minor chords. We're going to take our root note, C, and we're going to learn the new formula. The formula here is +3 + 4. So it's just reverse of the major formula. So if I take C and I +3 and I +4, I get these three notes, C, E flat, and G. And these three notes create C minor, as you can see below. So C major is written as just a C because when we write a capital letter as a chord, it's implied that that's just major. This is C major, this is G major, F major, but when I do a minor chord, it will say C minor or C min in this case. There's a variety of ways that these chords are written down on paper. For now, all you need to know is C min could be minor and C is major, or C maj, M-A-J would be fine too, as in major. So we had +3, +4. Let's do it on a different note. How about F? So F, we have +3, +4. There's F minor. Let's do it on a different one. How about A flat? +3, +4, A flat minor. Just like with major, anywhere that I do this, if I apply it to a root note, +3, +4, I will get a minor chord. If I apply +4, +3, I'll get a major chord. So the formulas are similar. They're just a little kind of like opposite of each other. In fact, there's only one note different between a major chord and a minor chord. If I play C major, all I have to do is take the middle note and lower it by 1, and I get C minor. Because this is the +4, +3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the +3, +4, 1, 2, 3. All it changes is the middle note. So if I'm on G, this is G major, G minor. If I'm on A major, A minor. Just the middle note changes, that's all. So major and minor chords are quite similar in their structure, in their intervals between the notes. It's just one note changing is all. Now if we look at how a minor chord relates to the scale, as we talked about before, if I have my C major scale and I play my C minor chord, +3, +4, I can see I have the first note of the scale, but then this note is not in the scale. This note is in the scale, but not this one. So what we say here is that normally it's this note is the 1, 2, 3rd note of the scale, but it's been flattened, meaning if you remember flat means to go down, it's been lowered by one note. So this is a 1, this is a flat 3, and this is 5, just like before. So a major chord was a 1, 3, and 5, but a minor chord is a 1, flat 3, and 5. Again, this is universal. This is always the case. A minor chord will always be a 1, flat 3, and 5 of the root note's major scale, and a major chord will always be a 1, 3, 5. The formula for the minor is +3, +4, and the formula for the major is +4, +3. Now, I can see that this could be a little bit confusing, and it was for me too in the beginning. What's important to remember is that in the formula we're talking about now, the +3, +4, and +4, +3 thing, those numbers refer to half steps. How many half steps do you take to get to the note you want? When I'm saying +4, +3, I mean you take a root note and then you add 4 half steps and then you add 3 half steps and you get the chord. When I'm saying 1, 3, 5, I'm talking about the number of notes in the scale. So that's not half steps anymore. That's the first note of the scale, the 3rd note of the scale, and the 5th note of the scale. As I mentioned, this is going to become more important as we go along. For now, it's more important to understand the +4, +3 formula, but I wanted to mention this 1, 3, 5 and 1, flat 3, 5 because we are going to come back to it in a big way in the future, because understanding more advanced chords requires that we know about this method of thinking of 1, 3, 5 and 1, flat 3, 5, because it really makes large chords easy to understand. Now I want to also show how to do this on the QWERTY keyboard. So I'm going to pull that up, and here I am. Remember all my white keys, Q, W, E, R, T, Y, U, I. So if I take my Q, remember this is a C. If we find 2 black keys, which is the 2 and the 3, and we go to the left, we get a C. So if I take this and I do my formula for major, +4, +3, 1, 2, 3, 4, I get my first note, 1, 2, 3. There's my major chord. I do the other formula for the minor, that's plus 3 and 4. There's my minor chord. Now, what's important to understand about this QWERTY keyboard is that the notes go in this order, right? Like you can see that here's the Q, and the next possible note is not the W, it's the 2. The 2 is in between the Q and the W. It's raised up, just like on a regular piano, to make that understandable, but you have to know that this note is between Q and W. So it goes here, 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 here. So from here to here is a half step, and from here to here is a whole step. From here to here, E to R, which is actually the notes E and F in the scale, that's a half step, but this is a whole step. So when we're making our formulas on the QWERTY keyboard, that's what we have to understand. That we have to take the black notes into account too when we're counting these half steps, plus 4 and plus 3 and so on like that. Now there are some limitations to the QWERTY keyboard as always, which is that, for instance, if we wanted to make a major chord starting here on the B flat note, that's 7 on the keyboard, I don't have enough room to even do it. If I wanted to do a major chord, I would have to add 4 to this. So here's the root note plus 1, 2, and I have no more notes. I can't even do it like that. So in that case, I'd have to either have a physical MIDI controller, MIDI keyboard, or I could come in and actually create the chord inside the piano roll. So I'll quickly show you how to do that. What I did there actually was double click on the grid on the track I'm on. So I'm on presence and I double click and I get an empty MIDI block. And when I double click on this, I'll just close this again. When I double click on this, it brings me my piano roll. So if I bring this up and I can see my piano here, here's my C notes labeled. So I wanted a B flat major chord. So I went C, lower to that is B, below that is B flat, also known as A sharp. So all I do is I take this A sharp note or B flat note, I follow it out, I see it right here, right? Here's the black key, and I double click, there's my note. Now I add plus 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, brings me to D, add 3, 1, 2, 3. There's my B flat major chord. I've just done it without even touching the keyboard, just looking at this piano roll and doing the same thing, finding a root note and applying the formula, and you get the thing. Now, if I wanted to make this minor, remember, all I have to do is take the middle note and lower it by 1, and now I have B flat minor. If I play this, it's very short, let's make it longer. That's a minor chord, dark sounding, and if I raise this, more positive, major chord. I'm gonna do it once more. Let's take G. So here's my C, D, E, F, G, and I'm gonna double click. I'll make a minor chord this time. So here's my root note and I add 3. 1, 2, 3, double click. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, wrong note, there it is. And I'll pull this out. This should be a G minor chord, which it is. And if I raise the middle note by 1, G major. So that's how it works in terms of the QWERTY keyboard and in terms of the piano roll, just drawing them in. If you don't have a physical keyboard, these are going to be your only options for now. Of course, it's always better to have a physical keyboard, but if you can't get one, it's good to practice on this. And that's the last thing I wanted to say, which is that it's very, very important to practice building these chords. If you have a physical keyboard, great. You should just pick notes and build chords. You just take any random note and say, okay, I'm gonna pick an E, I'm gonna make it major. And now I'm gonna take a C, I'm gonna make it minor. And just build them over and over and over on any chord you can, on any root note you can, because the more you do this, the better you're gonna have an understanding of how to do it. And when you come to writing your songs, it's gonna be easy for you. It's very, very important to practice this. Whatever method you have to input your chords, it's very important you practice building major chords and minor chords using this formula because we're going to be using them all the time. So that's it for now, and I'll see you in the next one.